Big day, man. So we've been planning this for probably about 2 months now to try and do what is essentially, I think, a world first 5-camera virtual video wall podcast. And I've had Atia, Ferris, Dr. K, and Mr. Ballin orbiting for a little while. And I thought, right, they're all in or near Texas. We might as well pull the pin. And I haven't seen what's going on. I haven't seen any of the complications. If you watch the last vlog that we did in LA, you'll know that just filming things in the real world can often come with quite a lot of complications. So trying to film something with, I think, a total of maybe 16 virtual environments on one of the most advanced video walls in the world, whilst also trying to light and shoot all of the rest of the stuff, and also trying to have a conversation. Many things may go wrong this week, but I'm excited. This is the most excited I've been for one of these cinema shoots. I really love trying to do something different and cool. And it may be a total catastrophe, but it'll be a good story, and you're gonna get to watch it unfold. I genuinely think this might break people's brains.
Heck yeah, I'm excited. I think it's a really cool way to visually kind of spice up podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
So when Chris reached out to us and said, I've got this incredible vision for a podcast, we were like, whoa, we've actually never done a podcast at this magnitude here. So he came in with a lot of different ideas, a lot of different production value, I think, that was going to bring to his platform.
This one's definitely been difficult because it was a really quick turn and there's like 12 different environments. So normally there's a person running a wall and there's also a person building, and I've been doing both. We don't have like an OBS or like a live switching situation here. So it's just like, it could skip, it could dip to black, it could...
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
The only thing, I mean, you know...
Yesterday, and you did it 3 times perfectly, but I think for today, let's keep it.
Okay. Well, Atia's less of a... Atia, we've only got 2 scenes, and we're going to cycle through them both, and it's 20 minutes on each, which is cool. Segments tend to be around about 10 minutes or so.
This project has come with some new challenges, as we've never done something at this level for podcasting before.
I understand that we're trying to do a lot technically this week, so.
A couple things. One is that we usually design with 1 camera in mind. This one has 5.
For our 5-camera shoot, there weren't points of interest where we needed them to be, and the lighting was way off. We throw it up on the wall, we frame up, we see how it looks, and then we gotta take it down, make all those changes, throw it back up, test it.
The wall is typically used as a 3D viewport, a window into the 3D world. And this one, we're just using it as 2D. So as you can tell, the wall is curved. And so when we throw up a 2D image on a curved wall, you're gonna get some stretching that comes along with it.
So as you can see here, like our image is kind of warping this way because of the wall shape. Because we're not using Unreal Engine 5 in real time, we're having to warp all of our images back. So we're having to frame out each section of the wall, try to correct it per camera. So that's one of the challenges we're facing now. I'm working closely with Zach to try to get that looking as close as possible to reality. We're really tight on schedule, so we're trying to make sure we can get through all the environments, correct it all before our talent gets here, and so we can roll on time. I hope we can make it work. We will make it work.
We're running late again. Technically, making this happen, this one especially. So this scene that we're doing right now, one of them is completely rendered for a video game in Unreal 5. And that means that we need to stop recording and then like cut and then come back into some other stuff, and all of the lights need to change. So taking a bit longer to set up than we might have anticipated. So feeling the pressure. It'll be all right.
Where's the projector?
That's a screen. That's all powered. It's all lit from behind. Those are all individual pixels. So that wheel and that smoke is going to be turning for like while we're recording. Birds are going to be flying around.
Wow, this is more impressive than being at a nice TV studio. Not just because of obviously the number of cameras, but this is cool, and I don't know that people can appreciate it from where they are, but it's, as I learned, these are LEDs. This is not a projector.
Peter's building a studio I'm not sure he's chosen the right day to take advice about how to do like a nice low lift, low complexity podcast studio.
Apple and Charlie.
3, 2, 1. I found when it went from dark to light, I was like, like I've got there's a little something going on there. It's cool, man. It's really cool. Obviously, when you're recording, usually nothing changes, apart from maybe the sun going in and going out. But as you're sat down, when the scenes move, the energy changes between both of you. Today was fun, man. I mean, it was a bit stressful because it took quite a while for us to get cracking, and I don't want to waste the guests' time, and you're kind of getting a little bit anxious and wanting to get started and stuff. But it's wild having the environment change while you're in it. It's crazy because it really does, and the lights also all change to match the colors of the background, and it gets this specifically because this one's super light and then the museum is really dark. I have no idea if this is gonna look good on camera. I literally have no idea.
Hardcore sports teams, and they love their beans.
Boston?
Nice. Bostonian.
Yeah, it's just have a look at it on the lens.
Yeah.
I have every color of Zara t-shirt that they make, every single one of them, and they've stopped doing this one. Zara, bring this color back, please.
Is there a world where anything needs to be back there? Maybe not.
I tried. They're just detailless.
So one of the challenges we're facing right now is some of our aperture fixtures aren't talking to our blackout app on the CRMX. So what we're trying to do is reset some things, update some firmware so that we can get it all connected, because we're swapping in between scenes in a single interview, so we're not cutting. So we're just trying to make sure that is all super smooth when we're moving from one environment to the next.
Today is in space, orbiting in space. But because it was made for a game, so it's got like 3D parallax effects to it, we basically need to shut down for 3 minutes. So the only way that we can do a transition that's not going to look totally awful is for me to tell Tim about like a section that I'm going to move us to, and I'm going to ask him a question, and then he's going to have to not answer, and then the screen's going to go black, and also all of the lights are going to go black. So we'll fade from like space to black, and then back out from black after 3 minutes once they've run all of the new stuff up, and then fade everything up and we'll be in a new place. So I think that's the only way that we can do it. So we're like, this is like a live performance. It's like threading the needle of like, right, Tim, and don't forget, like when I step one step to the left, like you need to go to the right.
This is what happens when technology has an attitude. The DMX system isn't working. It's not talking to our blackout app, so they can't control it in between the transitions. You're at 5 and then we...
5 and then we...
It's been a very, very long process, long days, especially for the team here.
Here's the thing. We're all sleep deprived, and we're trying to function the best we can. And if it wasn't for the crew's professionalism and able to just to stick to course, this whole thing would fall apart. So the crew's so important.
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, good to meet you too. Cool setup.
Yeah, we're trying something a bit different this time.
You know, it's not my kitchen table, but it'll do. Just kidding. Format, super fun, very immersive. I feel like I'm flying on a creature through Avatar at the moment. It does change, obviously. Very dynamic, very fun as a guest to be part of something this elaborate and complex, because I know for sure I'm never going to do it myself personally. So this is a rare opportunity to enjoy something new.
Oh, yeah. Happy 10th anniversary.
Amazing. Thank you.
I've heard that this is your favorite.
Podcast actually crossed 1 billion mid last year. I haven't announced it. I guess I'm announcing it now. I'm celebrating them both at the same time. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We're in this Avatar world, as you can see, right? Like, we're not bringing all our podcast equipment out there. Come on, that's ridiculous. Listen, I'm just trying to make pretty pictures, bro.
Oh my goodness, dude, this is amazing. I even like the smell. Wow.
Yeah, there's haze in the air as well. There's a little bit of haze to add some atmosphere while we're doing this.
This is super cool, dude.
I'm glad you like it. I'm really excited.
I think it adds a completely different energy to a conversation.
It's huge. 3, 2, 1. Dr. K, welcome to the show.
Chris is awesome at having great conversations, but it's amazing how much of a difference it is to be in the right space and feel the right energy. Our first conversation was like over the internet. So I was in my space, he was in his space, and even this place, something about the air and like the greenery, it feels different and it feels very conducive to like, I don't know, dialogue and exploration. And like, I thought it was honestly just completely awesome.
I feel like a UFC fighter that's just been through 15 rounds. Today was good. I think we went 3.5 hours with Tim, 3.5, and then 2 hours with Dr. K, and then about an hour of ads. It's been so much fun to do something that you're like, wow, no one's ever done this before. There's not much stuff you can do that other people haven't done before, and this is one of them. So I hope it looks good. I hope you're enjoying seeing behind the scenes, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Men are working.
We're after your fixtures, make sure that they have a hardline DMX by them. So I'm running a firmware update. I think we're going to gain back control of those. So we're going to try to hardline them. And
I didn't sleep good. It's weird. The harder I work, the worse I sleep, which makes it more and more vicious. But caffeine and new tonic will keep me going today. So this is kind of what we actually built the entire shoot around. And originally, Ballin was going to be the first episode that we were running with, and then we were going to have Atia and Ferris and Dr. K, and we would have finished yesterday, but scheduling meant that we had to change it. So we've saved the most technically complex, the one that's got the most things that could go wrong, the thing that we spent the most money on, and the highest followed guest last. As he tells different stories, the scenes are going to move, so there's a degree of coordination that's kind of happening. And it's actually really fun. It kind of feels a bit like being a performer, but doing what I know well, which is the conversation thing. If you ask me to dance or draw or sing, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I'm really, really excited for this. We've spent so much money. I mean, to render these things in Unreal Engine 5, it costs an awful lot of cash.
For today's shoot, we are doing kind of a marshland. So this was the reference that was sent over, kind of like a swampy feel. It's a very monochromatic type color, and it's definitely highlighting these Navy SEALs and like their kayaks, like they're kind of marching through the marshland. So what you'll see on the wall here was based off of this.
We take the references and then we kind of compile everything that we want to include, and it allows us a little bit more control. It just takes even more time to make that happen.
It is a pretty big undertaking to do this many environment changes per episode. Typically, we will set up a shot for one environment, one location, whereas these episodes have multiple environments that we're seeing. So it's a new thing for our team to see. I think so far it's been looking pretty good, but it's definitely a big undertaking.
Don't forget, these guys usually have scripts, they have professional camera people, there's actors, they know what's going to happen next. Meanwhile, we've literally asked them to repurpose their video wall into what a VDJ does, like a video DJ would do. Deadmau5 mixing tracks and being like, oh, and when, you know, strobe comes on, make sure that you change the colors to this thing. So they've been waiting and watching me talk, and then if I say a thing or the guest says a thing that they think is related to, they've been great. I've been unbelievably impressed. We've gone over every single evening. We've asked them for way more than they should do. We went to them with a brief and they were like, yeah, no worries, and made it in, I think, a few days. So we owe them an awful lot.
So the scene you're about to see right here was designed by Ace, who's our virtual production supervisor.
We got helicopters moving, jets flying overhead, which we'll all be playing back in the podcast behind them.
After some notes, I took it upon myself to redesign it last night, and I'm just noticing I kind of missed something here. On these trucks, this tire goes into the ground, which I don't know if you've ever driven a truck before. That's not supposed to happen.
If you're seeing lines on the screen, that's because of the hertz rates of the LED wall. So the LED wall is set to 24 frames exactly. So if you're any faster on your shutter speed, you're going to see all these lines just roll through the screen. If you can see on the screen, we're individually placing each shot for our cameras. So this is our wide shot. So we're framing that, and then we're also kind of working in all these different things.
Decent setup, huh? Needless to say, this is the most impressive set I have ever been on. I normally film in my studio, which is a crappy green screen and like my tripod and camera. This is a lot more. This is amazing.
Good to meet you, man.
How are you?
I'm good, man. This is like insane.
Yeah, this is going to be special. So you are the most technically complex, the most expensive. Most things can go wrong with the most intricate lighting. So hooray.
There we go.
We've got our everyone's got their fingers crossed. Middle third, your third, my third.
Yeah.
But what it means is that they can put stuff behind you or me that's not like actually part of the render, but that looks really good. So let's say that we wanted this moon over your shoulder and we wanted this house. They can just chop that, pull that out.
You kind of slot it almost like that.
Yes, exactly.
What you're left with is a like cinematic piece of content, though.
Correct.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
No one's doing that in podcasting, at least not at the level you're doing right now.
I don't think so.
I think because you've already established the baseline of like authenticity.
Yeah.
Adding production to it does not jeopardize the show's like core.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's all style and no substance.
Exactly.
Because you've already invested 750 episodes before you've tried to do a video wall. This isn't me trying to replace the reason that I started doing the show, right? I will happily talk to some dusty academic with a unpronounceable surname from some university you've never heard of from the spare room in my house all day. But I also want to do this, and I've been really excited. There's a lot of criticism about sterile, transactional, boring communication, and one thing I can definitely say is that this week has not been boring.
And really during the recording, I felt like the mood changed every time the scene changed. It really felt like where you are is now different. You know, the military scene that was in there, it felt like it just went on forever out here. In my peripheral, it really seemed like it just went out. It was cool. It like almost revitalized the conversation because he would change the question as the scene was changing. And so it just felt like, oh, it's like a new scene, even though it's the same conversation. So it definitely, the energy shifted, and he told me that would happen. And this was really cool. This is a unique podcast.
I told a story, this is going to be embarrassing if I can't open it, isn't it? I told a story to Atia, I think, about champagne that Winston Churchill had a custom-sized bottle built of, and this is it. So I actually haven't opened any of this yet, but he shipped me some of this, and it arrived yesterday. So, I've got to save it for an occasion. But what more of an occasion is there than spending a deposit on a house on a video shoot for 3 days? So, here we are.
I will get paper.
I'm so glad that wasn't pointed at something expensive. Winston Churchill's champagne in plastic cups. Thank you very much for all of your efforts this week. It's been unbelievably intense, and I know that I've made you work very hard. Thank you.
Cheers.
It took us 5.5 years and 600 episodes, 1,000 videos to hit 1 million subs. And it's taken 9 months and 150 episodes to hit 2 million subs. I think when this drops, this will be around about 2 million subs. But, I mean, God, go back and listen to the first episode that I did in my old office in Newcastle upon Tyne with a single Yeti microphone balanced in the middle of the table talking to Stu Morton, my friend from the gym who was going to row the Atlantic solo. I say, every other sentence because I didn't learn that nodding silently was a thing that I could do in a podcast. And I'm now on the biggest video wall in Texas, filming with Tim Ferriss, literally a podfather, the guy that taught me how to release a podcast before he knew who I was 7 years ago. And it's cool. It's a cool arc. I feel like this has been a really sort of nice occasion to bring things into land. You are observing me go through a moderately big transition, I think, at the moment in life. This is going to be the next phase. Now, I moved out to Austin 2 years ago. I didn't really know, is this going to be the thing? Is this going to work? I moved out on my own to a brand new country to try and, talk to people on the internet, and accidentally turned it into a career. I also understand that champagne problems, too much attention is not exactly something that I am worthy maybe of any sympathy for, and there's people that have got it way worse and all the rest of this stuff, but I'm trying to be as open and honest as possible about what the experience of going from absolute nobody to like micro niche degenerate influencer fame, wherever it is that I'm at now. And if it was me as a fan of a show like this, I would want to know what it's like. And I hope that it comes across that way. This isn't me trying to humble brag about like, oh, look at how much attention I get or whatever. I don't get that much attention. Thankfully, because you guys seem to be unreasonably reasonable and not obsessive in any of the bad ways, and like supportive in most of the good ways as well, which is, I think, the perfect balance. But that, I can see that changing, you know? The episode that you'll hear with Tim, we talk an awful lot about the perils of fame and about why he's, you know, purposefully sort of defamed himself. He's made himself less recognizable. So that is 4 episodes in 3 days. First ever 5-camera shoot on this volume, the largest volume in Texas. Maybe the first ever virtual video wall podcast that's been done like this ever. Haven't seen anything on the back of the lens. I have no idea if this is gonna look even remotely realistic or cool or beautiful or whatever. And no, it's really fired me up. This week I've been really, really excited. And I understand as well, there's a justified criticism, which is, I don't care about how it looks. I'm just here for the conversation. Stop trying to return something that was supposed to be about the purity of a talk into TV, which was the exact thing that everybody's trying to go away from. And there's kind of this anti-mainstream media thing. And don't get me wrong, like I'm a part of it, but I think that there is utility in beauty. And I think that if I can maintain the purity of the conversation whilst adding grandeur and occasion and gorgeous visuals to something which you already enjoy, for the people who want that, I think it's really cool. Hopefully it brings joy to you. Hopefully it helps you learn about yourself and the world around you. Hopefully it makes you feel less alone or less personally cursed with the things that you're dealing with because of the openness of me or the insights that you learn from the guests. I'm gonna try and enjoy the next 1 million subs as much as possible. That's the goal. Have as much fun over the next 1 million subs as I can. I really appreciate you. Hopefully this has been interesting to see as a fly on the wall what we've done. And hopefully the episodes come out cool. And if they don't, I have blown a house deposit on giving myself an answer that I don't need to answer again. All right.